still, which is what you want. Okay. And then we've got a bit of this old fencing wire, which you can sometimes find as well, but otherwise can be found at hardware stores. And it works quite well. So the fencing wire is particularly thick and quite rigid as well. So it works well for this application, because what we're going to do is, that's quite long, and what you do is just bend a zigzag into the wire, something like that. And this has got a pretty important function in the longevity of the box, because when we eventually tie this box to a tree using the wire, the zigzag just allows room for the tree to grow over many years without putting lots of pressure on the box or the tree. So the zigzag will expand over time, if that makes sense. I've found that it's actually really surprised me where I've used just a straight piece of wire, especially on young gum trees. It's amazing how fast they grow out of that, and it becomes very tight, sometimes within 3 years or so, which has kind of surprised me. So this should last many years now, and if you like, you can do more zigzags, and it'll last longer. So then the final bit is to just put a loop in the end of the wire. I'll do that on both sides. And I use this same installation method for all of my boxes, including the very heavy ones. And in that case, I just use the zigzag in the spring, or in the wire, as a kind of, not the main support of the box, but just that a kind of middle piece, which perhaps I can show after if you think we should. Using mostly cable as a support for the box, but then this wire spring just as a kind of extendable section to that. So there we have it. We've now got, that's what it should look like. So the loop on the end is just a very tight little small loop, which you can see there. All right. Now, I guess we could go take it somewhere where it would look almost in the right, look at home. The last step usually is to paint. I figure we won't do that today just because we'll have to wait for it to dry and all that sort of stuff, and people can probably visualise that, I'd say. But I tend to just paint using mist tints, so it's paint that's either going to get chucked out or sold for very cheap. So again, really easy. And you can often find lots of different shades of brown in the mist tints, which is handy too. This one's quite pale. It would fit quite well on a lemon-scented gum or something like that, which we've got out here in the park. It also means the box is going to stay quite cool, so because it's a pale colour. So you can choose what colour you need depending on what you're going for in terms of the microclimate.